Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to a brand new video. So, in this class, we are going to talk about armed with those personality enhancers, three conversation, each knitters, and three small extenders. It's time to take it step up the communication ladder. Let us know rise from small talk and seek the path to more meaningful dialogue. The next technique is guaranteed to make the exchange engrossing for your conversation partner. Technique 17, never the naked introduction. When introducing people, don't throw out an unbaited hook and stand there grinning like a big lamb, leaving the new limates to flutter their fins and fish for a topic. Bait the conversational hook to get them in the swim of the things when you are free to say or float on the next networking opportunity. How to resuscitate a dying conversation. Ha- Even a well-intended husband who might ask his wife while making love, is it good for you too, honey? Knows not to ask a colleague, is the conversation good for you too? Or yet he wonders, we all do with, yet he wonders, we all do. With the following technique, set your mind at rest. You can definitely make the conversation hot for anyone with whom you speak, like my prom date, Donnie. You will m- miraculously find subjects to engross your listeners. Be a slate on their slips of the tongue, no matter how elusive the clue. Sherlock Holmes is confident. Hell, soon he is staring right at it through his magnifying glass, like the unerring detective. Big winners know no matters how elusive the clue, they will find the right topic. How they have become word detectives. I have a little young friend, Nancy. Works in a nursing home. Nancy cares deeply about elderly, but when grumbles about how crotchety and laconic some of her patients are, he laments the difficulty relating to them. Nancy told me about one especially cantankerous old woman named Mrs. Otis, whom she could never get upon get to up whom she could never get to upon up to her. One day con Nancy confident right after all this rainy storm. Hello, hello, is hello, hello, hello. Okay, working. Okay, I remarked to the Mr. Wise terrible storms we had last week, don't you think? Well, Nancy continued. Mrs. Otis practically jumped down my throat. She said in a snippy voice, "It has been good for those. good for the people. I asked Nancy how she responded to that. What could I say? Nancy answered, the woman was obviously cutting me off. Did you ever think to ask Mr. Otis if she liked plants? Plants? Nancy asked. Well, yes, I suggested Mrs. Otis brought the subject up, okay? I asked Nancy, do a favor, ask her, I begged. Nancy insisted, but I persisted just to quiet me down. Nancy promised to ask cantankerous old Mrs. Otis if she liked plants. Now, the next day, flab, flabbergasted Nancy called me from work. Lil, how did you know? Not only Mrs. Otis loved plants, but she told me she had been married to a gardener. Today I had a different problem with Mrs. Otis. I couldn't up shut her up. She went on and on about her garden husband. Top communicators, no ideas don't come out of nowhere. If Mrs. Otis thought to bring up plants, then she must have some relation with them. Furthermore, by mentioning the what it meant subconsciously, she wanted to talk about plants. Suppose, for example, instead of responding to Nancy's comment about the rain with it's good for the plants, Mrs. Otis had said, because of the rain, my dog couldn't go out. Nancy could then ask about our dog, or suppose she grumped, it's bad about for my arthritis. Can you guess what Mrs. Old wants to talk about now? When talking with anyone, keep your ears open and, like a good detective, listen for clues. Be on the lookout for any unusual references, any anomaly, deviation, digression, or invocation of her to resuscitate a dying conversation. Another place, time ask time person ask about it because it is the clue to what your conversation partner would really enjoy discussing. If two people have something in common, then the shared interest comes up. They jump on it naturally. For example, if someone mentions playing squash and the listener shares that passion, he or she pipes up, oh, you are a squasher too. Here's the trick, there is no need to be a squasher burner or fillet, fillet to pipe up with enthusiasm. You can simply be a word detective when you pick up on the reference as through it excites you to it parlays you into conversation. The stranger thrills to the subject may put your feet to sleep, but that's another story. Now you have in ignited simulating conversation. Let's explore a technique to keep it hot. Technique 11, be a word detective. Like a good gum show, listen to your conversation partners every word for clues to his or her preferred topic. The evidence bound to slip out, then the spring on that subject like a slip on a slip of the tongue. Like Sherlock Holmes, you have the clue to the subject that's hot for the another person how to enthrall him with your choice of topic them. Several years ago, a girlfriend, several years ago, a girlfriend and I attended a party saturated with a hodgepodge and elegant fox. Everyone we talk to seem to lead a nifty life, discussing the party afterwards. I asked my friend Dan and of all exciting people at the party, who did you enjoy talking to most? Without hesitation, she said, "Oh, by far, Dan Smith." What does Dan do? I asked her. Oh, I am not sure, she answered. Where does she live? Oh, I don't know, Diana responded. Well, what is he interested in? Well, we don't really didn't talk about his interest. Then I asked, what did you talk about? Well, I guess we talked mostly about me. I thought Dana has just rubbed noses with winner. As it turns out, I had the pleasure of meeting Big Winner Dan several months later. Dan ignorance about his life piqued my curiosity, so I grilled him for details. As it turns out, Dan lives in Paris, has a beach home in the south of France, and a mountain home at Ellipse. He travels around the world producing sound and light shows up for pyramids and ancient ruins, and he is an avid hand. How to install them with your choice of topping them, glider and scuba diver. How does this man have an interest life or what? Yet then when meeting the Ivar, when Median said nothing about him, I told Dan about how pleased Dan was to meet him, yet how little she learned about his life. Dan simply replied, well, when I meet people, I learn so much. If I ask about their life, I always try to turn the spotlight on the other person. Truly confident people often do this. They know they grow more by listening than talking. Uh, Obviously, they also captive the talker. Sell yourself with a top sales technique. Several months ago, at a speaker's conversation, I was talking with a colleague, Brian Tracy. Brian does a great job. Done, Brian does a brilliant job of training top salespeople. He tells his students of a giant spotlight. When shining on their product is not as interesting to the prospect. When they shine the spotlight on the prospect, they make the salesperson. This technique is especially crucial for you. Keep your swiveling spotlight aimed away from you, only lightly on your product and most brightly on your buyer. You will do a much better job of selling yourself and your product. Alright guys, that's all for today. Make sure to like, share and subscribe.